Are you aware that you talk to yourself all day long? I'm not talking about the mental chatter about the activities and chores that we need to remember to complete throughout the day. I'm not even referring to the type of talking to yourself that I'm guilty of doing all the time when I actually say out loud what I'm in the midst of doing or what I want to do next. These are forms of self talk too, but I'm specifically referring to the things you say to yourself about yourself, the mental messages that you program yourself with on a daily basis. When you make a mistake, do you berate yourself? Do you put yourself down often or call yourself derogatory names? When you have a hard time making positive changes or following through on something, do you beat yourself up? Do you say things like, I'll never do anything right? I can't do this. I can never do that. How about things such as, I can't change. I've always been this way. Or what about, I'm not smart enough. I'm not young enough. I'm not old enough. I'm not confident enough. Or fill in your own blank. We all do this from time to time, and these are all examples of negative self talk. Negative self talk can be incredibly damaging to your self esteem, especially if it's a big part of your daily life. When you keep saying things like this to yourself, eventually you begin to believe them. And what happens with the things that we think about, they become the things that we do. Most often, these messages begin as statements uttered by the adults in your life when you were a child. They may have said something negative about you when your actions displeased them, or perhaps they had a habit of saying unkind things even when you didn't deserve it. Sometimes they may not have even said these things to you directly, but you may have interpreted them from their actions. Not only do we get these negative messages from the adults in our lives, but we also get them from friends and our peers and family members, and sometimes even from strangers. As painful as these experiences can be, it's even worse when you pick up where others leave off and repeat the same negative messages to yourself over and over. What we repeat becomes what we believe. And so the good news about that is that you can change your self-talk anytime you want. You just have to know how to become aware of the negative messages and consciously replace them with more encouraging ones. For starters, you need to develop an awareness of your self-talk. This may take practice because we are constantly thinking things and we're not always aware of our thought process. But if you take the time to listen to your inner voice, you'll begin to notice when you're talking negatively to yourself. When you catch yourself thinking negative thoughts, you need to challenge those thoughts. You need to notice yourself saying something negative such as, oh, you can't do anything right. Stop yourself and challenge that belief. Is it really true? Sure, maybe you mess up sometimes. We all do. But do you always mess up? Probably not. So don't let that be something that you repeat into existence. Most importantly, you need to replace the negative messages with positive messages. When you realize that you're saying something unkind or untrue to yourself, simply turn it around in your mind. Sticking with the example I just mentioned, you can say, that's not true at all. I do plenty of things right. It's true that I make mistakes, but so does everyone else. I'm still a good person and I will continue to do my best. It's also a good practice to replace negative statements with positive affirmations or declarations of truth. A few simple ones to start with are, I am worthy, I am capable, I am competent, I am in control of my reactions and responses. And any that you would like to add to this list can be repeated as often as needs be. Repeating these statements will result in a manual reset of your mental patterns and the way you think and talk to yourself about yourself. Over time, your efforts will pay off in the form of a more stronger self-esteem and self-respect for yourself and your capabilities. It probably won't happen overnight, but the more you work at turning your self-talk in a more positive direction, the better you'll feel about yourself and the closer you will become to achieving your goals and dreams. Until next time, see you then.